So here we are. This is what everybody has been talking about, what everybody wants me to talk about, and it is the elephant in the room. What is going on, guys and girls? I am Ghost Robo, and we're here to discuss PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One. And this video is in no way meant to incite console war craziness. I'm not about that. I don't think it's all about Sony or all about Microsoft. I think it's about two products, two boxes, that you have to decide between, and tons of people are looking for what should help them make that pick, what should help them decide where to put down their huge amounts of money. And this video is meant to be informative, opinionated, helpful, beneficial, and just give you some feedback on where I think you should drop your cash. So there's no TV wars, but people still tell you which TV is better. Let's just keep it level-headed and discuss these two awesome new systems. Now, I have fully been immersed in these guys for the last week and a half. I haven't played any last-gen stuff since then. I've just been all now current-gen, PS4, Xbox One. I spent plenty of hours with the games. And before some of you think that this bigger stack means I like this guy better, let me just tell you that I downloaded more over here. That's all it means. But I've delved into the interfaces. I've messed around with all the other features. And there's still more to explore, but I feel like I've given them a very good, fair shakes. And I want to just play more because I think there's still much more to experience and decide and just test out. The controllers, I've probably spent, I don't know, dozens of hours with both, and yet I want more to really formulate my perfect opinion. But people are all asking, and I have come to some conclusions, so let's get started. I think when you boil it down, it begins with games. That's what these things are. That's what they've been, gaming consoles, and that's what we call them. This is a gaming channel. I love games. That's why I'm doing this. And so let's talk about the games. And as a launch, I think this definitely is a moderately successful launch in terms of lineups. You know, you can't let these initial games be indicative of the final products you will get in, say, 5-6 years down the road once developers and everybody has a full grasp on what these bad boys can do. Take Genji on PS3 launch week versus Last of Us in the final months of the PlayStation 3, or take Perfect Dark Zero versus Gears of War 3. There's just no comparison. So again, thinking about that and knowing that these games don't represent the games that we will get, I think that it's a pretty successful launch lineup, all things considered. And the big guys are the exclusives. In terms of third-party stuff, I think they play and look virtually the same. Maybe some very, very specific, visual audio pundit can pick out the slight differences in filtration or the filters that are on there, or the resolution or whatever, but I can't. And I think to 95% of the population, Battlefield 4 on Xbox will be just as good as Battlefield 4 on PS4, and NBA 2K14 on PS4 will be just as good as NBA 2K14 on Xbox One. So let's talk exclusives. You've got Knack and Killzone and Resogun as sort of the big three here. And you've got Rise, and you've got Dead Rising 3, and you've got Killer Instinct over here. Now, early on, I would have said that I think that the PlayStation 4 launch lineup will be significantly better. I had very, very high hopes for Killzone. I thought Knack looked cool, Mark Cerny, all that. And Resogun was a standout downloadable title from the people who did Super Stardust. And Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct, Rise. Of course, there's Forza 5 as well, though I feel like that's a little more niche. It serves, the racing driving audience. Still a valuable part of the Xbox launch lineup. But let me say that I think the edge right now in terms of exclusives goes to Xbox One because of variety and because the games do keep up, I think, from an impressive standpoint, from a wow next-gen standpoint. Now, I think that Killzone and Knack look amazing. I think they look better than Dead Rising 3. I think Rise puts up some tough competition in the graphical department, even though the Xbox One is technically the weaker system. And I have never had a game that falls flatter in the final acts than Killzone. That really is disappointing me. Because it's a shooter, and because there's also Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts, I feel like Dead Rising 3 is a more... It gives you more variety. You can pick up Battlefield 4 and Dead Rising 3, and that feels different than Killzone and Battlefield 4. There's just a difference there. Knack is a surprise to me. I played at E3 and didn't like it, and then I really have sort of fallen in love with it in a weird way, but I don't think it's for everybody. And Rise is much more impressive than I was expecting, and again, did not like it at all at E3. It's definitely more of a rental than a buy, because it's short, and it's pretty simplistic, but it's gorgeous, and there's some brutal combat there that's pretty satisfying. So, Killer Instinct comes in as sort of this, wild card that's really fun, and again, another game I don't think Microsoft really showed off well and yet it plays really, really good. So they're very similar in their third-party offerings, but the slight exclusive advantage, tossing in Forza 5, Resogun's great, but I think there's more variety here, and so if I'm strictly talking about exclusives, I would choose these ones. Now, that's not all there is to consider, and trust me, when you're buying these boxes, you can't just look at this current lineup. The first thing I told you is that these games are not indicative of what's going to come out, so when you're spending $400 or $500, that's not just for this year, that's probably for the next 4 or 5, so what else factors in? And that's what these boxes sort of are built to do. The PlayStation 4 is one of, if not the best pure game playing consoles I have ever played. I love this controller. I love it. It takes away any worries I ever had with Sony controllers and makes me feel very comfortable on that platform. I think what they've done at the interface and keeping it very simple is beautiful. You can turn that thing on, it boots faster than the Xbox One. You get into games faster, there's less load times. The suspend feature works more cleanly, I feel. You're scrolling through where you want to go very briskly. You can navigate from profile to store with speed. And this thing plays games and has a PlayStation Plus program that is proven to be a freebie heaven with lots of good stuff now that you have to pay for online or on both. Some people are still like, do you have to pay for online on PS4? If you want to play multiplayer online, you do have to pay for online. So that sort of is a null and void even line. Another thing that I get a lot of questions about is backwards compatibility. Neither of these guys have it. There's no Xbox 360 games playable here and no PS3 games playable here. Those are both out, and again, a nice, even footing. Well, it's not really nice, but it's an even footing for these guys. The experience here of playing games is fantastic. And I think that if you are only into games and Knack and Killzone appeal to you considerably, and Infamous Second Son down the line is something that you feel is going to really be a game changer for you in your gaming library, man, you can't go wrong with the PlayStation 4. Now, let me tell you why the Xbox One says, okay, but come check what we have. And that's because they have built a box that does so much more than just play games, and its purpose, if a piece of hardware can have a purpose, is far bigger than the PlayStation 4. And that doesn't make it greater, but it plays the games, and it does have a good lineup of games. Like I said, I think the exclusives here are better. I really like Power Star Golf as well. It's a downloadable title. I recommend you check it out. It's a slower experience to boot the thing up. It's slower to navigate. It's slower to get into games. It's slower to get to your profile. It's slower to do a lot of the things that are speedier here. It's almost like Sony said, how can we build the best gaming box possible and focus almost all of our resources in that department? And Microsoft said, we want to take a broader approach, and we want to do something that feels more next-gen. Let me tell you that games excluded, this feels like the more next-gen box. And I really want to play these guys more, and so I'm going to do a full breakdown with game footage and interface footage and stuff, probably later in the week, closer to Black Friday, to give you guys a real concrete, like head-to-head feel. I just want to get my thoughts out here, so this video is really just my honest opinions. As a gamer, as someone who loves these things, as someone who played over 100 games this year, what do I think? And I think that the Xbox One, if I had to experience just one console this week, I would probably pick the Xbox One because I think it does a lot that is forward-thinking and forward-looking. And please don't jump on that, Sony people, and think that means your box is less. It's not. I just got done saying that I think it plays, the experience of playing games is stronger here. There's just something about the TV integration, the snap functionality, where you can put like Twitch on the sidebar, Netflix on the sidebar, about what they're doing with Kinect, how that voice recognition is so much stronger than ever before, with Kinect on 360, about where they're headed, with sort of their entertainment living room, full box that you can plug your television into. I did all that stuff, and I think it's really cool. Now, I feel like these boxes serve me. It's such a lifestyle choice, really, and that's what you're going to have to look at. And let me say that when you're in the games here control great. This is a good controller as well. I like them both. I still feel like the sticks are a little small here. I still feel like the triggers are a little weaker here. So they both have, a negative point. But other than that, the controller just goes away when you're playing. It just blurs in the background, and All those zombies on screen is insane in Dead Rising 3. And the clarity in Killzone Shadowfall is just gorgeous. And the beauty and the brutality of the blood in Rise is unlike anything you've ever seen. And the charm and Pixar-like quality of the Knack cutscenes are amazing. It's really a great experience wherever you turn. I don't think you can go wrong. But I do want to say that if you're the kind of gamer who has your console in your bedroom, if you do this for YouTube, if you're not having it in your entertainment center, if you're not having it where you hang out with friends, where you hang out with family, where you watch TV and experience other sorts of entertainment, I don't think you're going to take full advantage of the Xbox One. And if these were the same price, this conversation might have been shaped differently, but this is $500 and this is $400, and that's a bunch of money no matter how you think about it. It's a bunch of money no matter which way you go. $400 isn't that much less than $500. This is more for sure, but that's still a lot. It's a huge sum to plop down on, a hobby and or an entertainment, a non-necessity basically in terms of your cash. So if you're not going to be using that TV stuff, if you don't see yourself snapping the screen and watching some Netflix while you're waiting in the multiplayer lobbies of Call of Duty, if you don't see yourself plugging in your DirecTV box to control, the NFL slew of games on Sunday, if you don't see yourself being a voice recognition person, if you don't care that it signs you in based on your appearance, if you don't care that it's looking to be a futuristic entertainment box, then I think it loses a lot of its luster, and I think it then becomes a slower version of the PlayStation 4. Now, maybe for you, it's all about the games. And if it's all about the games, then you have to go based on the lineup. You have to go, do I like Rise? Do I like Dead Rising? Do I like Killzone? Do I like Knack? Do I like Power Star Golf? And do I like Killer Instinct? Do I like Resogun? And do I like the promise of these upcoming indies in the next few months? I'm speaking on both of them right now, but in a second I'm going to get to who each is for. I think that if you are a core gamer, if you love to play games and you don't really care about watching movies, you do that on your computer, or maybe on your iPhone, or you don't care about Twitch, talking to the system seems kind of juvenile. At $400, the PlayStation 4 is the better buy because it does all the gaming stuff really great. At $500, I don't see why you would pick the Xbox One if you're just looking for strictly gaming, unless this matters to you. I think that the Xbox One in its first year is going to have a much stronger exclusive lineup. They're talking about bringing Halo out sooner than I thought. You have Titanfall, which is going to be massive in March. You got the Plants vs. Zombies epic-looking multiplayer shooter from DICE coming first to Xbox One early in 2014. You've got Peggle 2. I know that PS4 is the indie support, but I think that Xbox One is going to have much better exclusives, at least in the opening 6 to 12 months. I don't know what Sony is planning for later in the year, but they haven't announced much. Infamous got pushed back, which means that the next game from them is not coming for a while. We haven't seen much of The Order. A little bit of Quantum Break, a little bit of Halo over here. I think that you're going to have more exclusives on the Xbox One to start. So if that matters to you, if the slew of games, and to you that's worth $100, then definitely go here. But if all that matters is, hey, the best place I can play Battlefield, the best place I can play Need for Speed, the best place I can play NBA, and the exclusives are just cherry on the top, go here. If you're a core gamer, especially I feel like if you're a younger player, if you're someone who you're not going to be sitting there at, 1 p.m. watching the NFL games on Sunday, you're not going to be sitting there DVRing all your shows and keeping up with Twitch and Skyping your friend across the country, I think you got to go with the PS4. I think that if you are someone who I think this is targeting an older customer. I really do. If you're, you have your own place, you're going to put this in your living room, or your family, I guess if you're younger and your family wants to put it in the living room and you're going to be using TV and you think the talking's cool, it is cool. The voice recognition, Xbox, you can go to the store, Call of Duty goes, purchase, confirm, bam. I love that. It's quick. It works. It really does. I'm not BSing you when I say that I think it's impressive. It's just, is that going to be useful? And I find myself just really wrestling with this. Like, what the heck? When am I going to use that? For the most part, I have my system set up connected to a monitor and recording the videos, and in my spare time I leave it there. I don't really like to carry it around. You know, if I was somebody who was just playing on my couch, I think that the Xbox One offers so much. But if that's not you, if you don't care really so much about movies, if you don't care really so much about all this integration, the possibility for where Snap technology and voice and facial recognition technology are going, and you don't really care about an entertainment center, you care more about a game station, I don't think you're going to get your money's worth out of that extra $100 on Xbox One. Now, if money is not an issue to you, then you just should go with the games. You should go look at the games and see which games you like better, and if you care about TV. Because I still feel like they are close enough as gaming machines. As much as PS4 is a better gaming experience, I think, from just a experience, not necessarily the games, but just an experience. The Xbox One is not so far behind that it's like, oh, leaps below. It's like a 5-star and a 4.5-star. You know what I mean? Like, they're close. So if you like that TV stuff and you think this is a better lineup, this is a great choice. Man, I'm so torn. If I had a clear answer for you, I would have given it to you right off the bat and let you know. But I think these boxes not only are closer, possibly, than ever before, but also more different than ever before. And that makes no sense. It's a conundrum, but I promise you it's true. And if you play them both, you'll know exactly what I mean. Their purposes are the same yet different. They both play Battlefield 4. They both have great controllers. They both have good online. They both have pay online. They both have, you know, a good store or an okay store. They both have faster interfaces than the previous generation. They both have game suspend features. They have trophies. They have achievements. A lot of that boils down to preference. Where are your friends? Where are your, you know, your achievements? Where's your profile been built up? And to me, that's something that is really getting in my head. Like, I have so many more achievements and just stuff invested on Xbox. It's hard to, like, get into trophies. Like, I don't care. I have so few, it's like, that means nothing. So that part of it about achievements really matters to me. Again, I think that if you're a core gamer, and I don't mean core gamer like, oh, you like the hardcore games. I mean, like, all you want to do is game. I think the better, like, the flow here is good. The flow here is good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that one is significantly superior. I have not seen a game that really shows me that PS4 is so much better on the insides. I've not seen a game that shows me that Xbox One is suffering from a lack of horsepower. So it's like, do you like the games here or do you like the games here? That has to be a big factor, and it's a big factor for me. The TV stuff, there's a wild card. It really is. Like, this is for the person who is looking to experience multiple forms of media in more of an open room setting, I feel. I mean, if you're someone who likes to, like, lay in your bed and watch Netflix and play games, that's great for it too. But I feel like the target here is like, hey, we want to occupy your living room space, and they really deliver on that. Like, that's what they set out to do. And if we had just listened to them in the beginning, I think you would... The vision was very clear. Toss out all the BS about console wars. Toss out the BS about, like, oh, this one had so many problems. They wanted to do always online. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, just listen to, like, Microsoft talked about TV and redefining your living room entertainment experience, and Sony was like, we're focusing on games. And that doesn't mean that these games are better. It just means that the focus of the system when you turn it on is evidently about playing games. And as a gamer who does not watch as much TV, does not delve into these features as much, I feel like if you are a gamer and that is what you want this purchase to be decided by, then the PlayStation 4 is probably the better purchase for you. It's $100 cheaper. It has all the same multi-platform games for 99%. Unless Titanfall, Rise, Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct, unless those really speak to you, this is the better purchase. But you really can't go wrong either way. You're not going to be let down. You're not going to be disappointed. The slight slowness here will not be evident if you only have this one, because you're going to be coming from PS3 and Xbox 360, where they were much slower, they were much goofier, they were less connected, they were less intelligent about the design, they were less futuristic, so you're going to be just jonesing about the speed. It's only until you play both that you really notice that difference. So this is something that is not a right-wrong decision. It's a finding the fit for you. And again, if you're looking to spend your money and you can't decide, and you like Killzone just as much as you like Rise, and you think Infamous is going to be just as cool as Titanfall, I think you have to go with a PlayStation 4 because the gaming experience is a little bit speedier and it's $100 less. So you really have to think for yourself. Write this down, ask it to yourself, think about it while you sleep. Do I care about entertainment and connect? And if the answer is yes, then you should probably lean this way. If the answer is no, not at all, then you should probably lean this way. And think about the games too. I think that for the gaming audience that really loved PlayStation 3 games and really loved Xbox 360 games, the games here are more appealing. I don't think NAC is going to really hit with people like it hit with me. I'm weird, and I don't think that Killzone and NAC are going to really hit with you. But I think most people are buying Battlefield and Call of Duty and NBA and Need for Speed and Men. This is a really tough choice, and it's a really difficult generation. I don't even want to bring up the Wii U because I know that's just going to add a third pillar of insanity to this, but the games there might be the best of all so far, and we'll have to see where things go. Like I said, I want to do a full breakdown. I could talk to you guys about this all day. I want to do a full breakdown of what I really, comparing the features head-to-head and give you sort of a overall rating. The price point makes things so tough. If these were both the same price, I would probably tell you to go with the Xbox One because there's more there. It's more forward-thinking. It leans more in a direction that could evolve, I feel. Whereas this is like, hey, we're a good gaming box. I mean, they still have a lot of stuff. They still have Netflix. They still have Twitch. They still have Game Suspend. They still have streaming. This is getting streaming. It's coming in a few weeks or months or whatever. But because of the price gap, if that stuff doesn't appeal to you, and think about this, don't just go in and say, oh, I love Forza. Most of the games this generation are going to be multi-platform. I bet you that 90% or more of games are multi-platform. Companies no longer can afford to align themselves unless Microsoft throws a ton of money at them, and I think Microsoft is more inclined to throw a ton of money than Sony. So you might have 12% exclusives here and 10% exclusives here. Most of the games you play are going to be multi-platform. I'm thinking about my favorite games of the year. Dead Space 3, Bioshock Infinite, The Last of Us. I mean, save for Mario, most of these games are multi-platform. Of course, The Last of Us is on PS3, and of course Mario is on Wii U, but Bioshock and NBA 2K14, and a lot of these games, Dead Space 3 that I really love, 3 out of 5 are multi-platform. I like both systems a lot, and this is going to take more thinking for me, because I don't know which one I prefer. I'm more happy to have experienced the Xbox One because I think it offers a glimpse into the future a little bit stronger. But I wish that both systems had the speed and the ease of use that the PS4 had. They're really good systems. This one feels more futuristic. This one feels more focused. This one feels like it can match right now just as good. Rise might be the best looking launch title. Here's the good news. Whichever system you buy, you are going to love it. I think that's the truth. Whether you dive into Forza and Killer Instinct, whether you dive into Resogun and Killzone Shadowfall, I think you're going to love it. You can pick up Need for Speed Rivals, Battlefield 4, NBA 2K14, Call of Duty Ghosts, Madden 25, FIFA 14, all these games that are great, Lego Marvel Superheroes if that's your kind of thing, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, we haven't even talked about that. On both these systems, Watch Dogs is probably going to be good for both next year. Destiny, okay, like you're in good shape wherever you go. So don't feel sad. Just decide if you like TV and entertainment. Decide if you don't care. If you don't care, then just save yourself some money. Unless you're a really big fan of these franchises. So look at the franchises. Write out which ones you like. Decide about your entertainment preferences and practices. And make a choice. They're both great systems. I'll provide you guys with, before Black Friday, another guide that gives my personal opinion. Because I still am not decided myself. I don't know which one I'm going to main. I don't know which one is going to be my multi-platform system of choice. I can't buy games for both. I mean, this was a launch day wallet killer, but I did it so I could bring you guys great coverage and so I could really get a sense for myself of which one is better. But I can't go on with that, so I have to pick one, and I'll figure that out. But right now, you guys, I want to help you pick. And I think I've given you some good information here. Hope you enjoyed this conversation and discussion. I love doing it. I love talking to you guys about games. It's my passion. I love this stuff. And we're at the most exciting time of the last decade for gaming. These are juggernaut machines that are delivering the greatest quality of graphics I've ever seen in my life. I'm not somebody with a massive gaming rig and all that technology and knowledge to make it just whiz on ultra. You know, I play games at a high level on PC, but I'm a console guy at heart, and so this is where I really get happy. And to see these games looking so good is awesome. To see the improvements to the interface is awesome. To see the speed enhancements is awesome. To see the futuristic tech of game suspend, all that stuff is awesome. And now it's just like, which advantages do I prefer? A little bit more speed, a little bit more quickness with the games, a little bit more entertainment. It's bearable to load into Rise. It's bearable to turn the thing on and have it take a minute, 18 seconds or whatever from a cold boot. This is a sexier box, and it purrs a little bit better. This is a bigger box that has bigger ambition. The games will ultimately, I think, decide which system is the winner in the end. If one can develop a new franchise that is a killer hit, if Titanfall somehow does insanely well and takes over Call of Duty, that could be really the game next year, you know, to define which console sells more. But so could Infamous, so could Uncharted 4. We'll just have to wait and see. It's exciting, it's awesome, and I hope this was informative. If you're an entertainment person who loves games as well, and you like these franchises, then yeah, shell out the extra 100, go with Xbox One. Connect is really awesome, and I think you'll be impressed. If you don't really care about those franchises, if entertainment is something that you do on your iPhone or your laptop, if you want to just play games and have the quickest experience in and out, you want to sit down when you get home from work and jump in to some Call of Duty, jump into some NBA 2K14, jump into some Destiny, and have a blast, like, save yourself $100 and go with PS4. They're both great systems. Which one's for you? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I really hope you did. Like I said, I've been pouring a lot of thought and really heart into this whole week and decision and videos and coverage. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below which way you're leaning, what you think, Xbox One, PS4. I'll keep you guys updated with the games, with the coverage, any new findings I experience, and also a deeper comparison that looks at the features sort of more head-to-head. I just wanted to give you this first weekend opinion and sort of overview decision of where it stands. Man, people are going to be asking me to do this. So if I had to pick one right now, based on the price point, I think I would go with PS4 right now. But I think that the future might reveal that the Xbox One is the better choice, and you're buying these boxes for a 5 to 7 year cycle, not a 1 year hurrah. So you got to think about that. You got to decide your priorities. You got to look at your usage. You got to look at what $100 means to you. And you got to look at if speed and a little bit more sleekness over here outweighs any potential for voodoo magic with television on this end. And then look at the franchise and decide. I've said enough. You guys have some good information. Hope you guys can make an awesome decision. You're golden either way. Thanks so much for watching. Everybody have a fantastic day. Enjoy so much chocolate, and we'll see you all later.